I don't know what you're doing there.
I
Hi, everybody.
forgot to clean my camera before I popped it on the tripod. So, hi, coming in hot tonight. This is, yeah, we're here. We're here.
We're here. We're here. So I guess first thing, as always, is can you see us and hear us? Okay, good. Julia says they can see and hear us both, so we can go on. Okay, welcome everybody. This is the KnitChat Cafe. My name is Noelle, and this is my friend
Kelly.
And we're coming to you from Southwestern Ontario. Kind of a nice day today. It's gotten warmer as the day goes on, but it's supposed to be super hot tomorrow, really humid.
Yes,
so
yes.
Not really looking forward to that, but that's okay. It'll be a good day to stay inside and knit, so... Anyway, I see that there's a lot of you in here already. I saw Irene from 3 Ply Podcast. You were in here early, and I just want to make sure I say, I see that you said that Queen Sandy said hello to us, and she wanted to make sure that you got that in there. Well, we say hello to her. So hi, Sandy. It was so nice to meet everybody this weekend, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But right now, we just want to welcome everybody to the KnitChat Cafe, and this is just your, your local neighborhood cafe where we get together to share all of our knitting. So
hanging out at a coffee shop.
Yeah. So I think we have some admin things to go through first.
Drinking wine in a mug. No, not really. Drinking water.
I have bubbly. Buble. I have buble.
It should be wine. It should be wine.
So.
Okay, where should we even start?
Well, we should start with admin because I think we have a couple of prizes to give away.
There's prizes to give away. Yes. Let's start with that.
So we passed the end of the month. So at the end of every month, we have our monthly draw for our sock prizes. So we draw for a pattern prize from Natalie of Remembrance's Pottery, and we draw for a yarn prize. Okay, so why don't we do the pattern prize first, Kelly?
Okay, let's do that. I need to get something up on the screen for you. So what I did want to note, we're trying to get to 2,022 pairs this year. And at the end of July, we were at 1,648 pairs. So that's really good. That means we really only have to do about 70, not we, you really only have to do about 75 pairs a month, but you're way ahead of that. So I think we're going to have no problem surpassing our goal at all. And
I just want to say, I did have some people email me to put sock pictures in there. So if you go in there and you see socks that are under my name, I am putting them in there for someone else. And I had one amazing knitter that sent me like 17 pairs of socks to put in there.
Oh boy.
so that is amazing. But if you see my name in there, that's why I didn't knit the socks. I'm putting them in there for someone else. So
great. Fantastic. Okay. So our winner for the month of July for the pattern, and this is a pattern. Did you say who it's donated by?
Yep. It's by Natalie. Yep. From Remembrance's Pottery,
who does amazing color work.
She does.
So I use a random number generator and it chose number. Let me see. Where's my slide? I made slides last night. Slide number, 1472. Spit it out, Kelly. 1472. That was the number. And the winner is Sandy, and her Ravelry name is Mystery Sewer. And you can see those are the socks that Sandy knit. Congratulations, Sandy, on winning that prize. Okay, and then moving on to yarn.
Okay.
And I thought, since it's sort of that theme of Christmas in July, let's give away some Christmas yarn and get ready. So this is actually Full Moon Fibers, and it's a sock set. So you have a 100-gram skein of 6 feet apart at the mistletoe. I think this is gorgeous, and I would wear this year round. This would
I would knit a shawl with that.
I know. And then it comes with two minis. Yeah. 2 minis. This really beautiful spruce green and this pink, which is almost as bright as Noelle's sweater, which we're going to talk about a little later too. It's so bright it doesn't even hardly focus. Anyway, this is luscious yarn. This is their Nebula sock base, and it is a 80-20. So you have 100 grams here and 2 20-gram skeins. Okay, so we're going to get this out, and the winner for this is You could have pulled this up, you know. There we go. The yarn winner is number 143. Her name is Linda, and on Ravelry, she is Hunter's Ma. So congratulations, winners, if you are a winner. Noelle, do you want to let them know how to get in touch with us? I'll go look for a banner.
So if it was the pattern prize, you can actually contact us on Ravelry, and I can get the code back to you so you can go in and choose your pattern. To send us your address, you can either do it on Ravelry or you can contact us at knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com. So either of those ways, and we will make sure that the prize gets out in the mail and that you get your code for the pattern. So, and we'll leave that up there because we're going to go through the next prize because we did a giveaway on the last episode. On the last episode, we did a giveaway because we were going to Chicago. And we just put a prompt out there about what you usually like to knit when you go on a trip. And I guess, and there was lots of great answers. And I mean, there are lots of great things that people do when they're traveling. Socks was up there. Socks was, I would have to say, was probably number one. But, you know, it depends. It depends whether you're driving. It depends whether you're flying. It depends whether you're on a train. Like, I think you have a lot more leeway if you're driving because you have more room for things. Like I find on a plane, it's usually always socks or dishcloths. Dishcloths were a good one, but it tends to be something small and portable. But a lot of people said, you know, if you get your sweater to the point where you're just doing stockinette in the round, that's a good choice. And if you've got something that's got a fairly simple pattern that you don't have to keep going back to, you know, either your written pattern or Knit Companion, it's probably a lot easier to work on in a vehicle. Anyway, we had a lot of entries for that, and I think there was 195 actually. And our giveaway winner.
Do you want to show what it is? Okay, or not?
I don't have it.
I was going to show it. It's okay.
Okay.
We'll show the slide.
Okay, so our winner is Judith Mullen.
Yay, Judith!
I can't read that because it's too small on my screen.
Okay, I can. She said that she just came back from a week's vacation in New Hampshire with her son's family, and no surprise here, my traveling knitting is sock knitting. I so enjoy the Knit Chat Night podcast replays. One of these days, she's going to make it to a live event. Yay. Congratulations, Judith. So I assume you're not in here tonight, but when you watch it on the replay, you should be able to catch it. So I'm going to show everybody what Judith won. These were super generously donated. We have more to come. Don't worry. From Full Moon Fibers. And it is a Little Notions combo pack. So it has these adorable needle stoppers here that you pop onto the end of your needles, little sunflowers, and these cute. Super cute little markers. These are cats stitch markers. Hard time not keeping this for myself. And then this cute little progress keeper, which is a little jar of kiwi slices, teeny tiny polymer kiwi slices. I absolutely love these little packages. Thank you so much for sending these to us to give away. And Judith, this one will head towards you.
Yeah, so you can contact us at knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com with your mailing address, and we'll make sure that we get that in the mail to you.
Yes, okay, absolutely. And hopefully, speaking of Full Moon Fibers, they have a podcast as well. And Allison and Jessica are absolutely the most adorable sisters ever.
They are. They're so nice.
Much
Such
fun.
Nice girls. Yep.
So check out their podcast. And they've always got some knit-alongs going on over there, and prizes as well.
Yep. And just before we go any further, we did have a viewer not last week, but the prior week, that had asked about yarn shop ideas in Quebec City. And I did have someone respond to that, but I couldn't copy it from YouTube and post it into another comment. So just for 1 minute, I'm just going to pop up on the screen here. That way, if the viewer who wanted to know is watching, she can just take a photo of this screenshot, and she'll have her list of yarn shops in Quebec. And thank you very much to the viewer that responded and gave us those ideas.
Absolutely. So, thanks so much.
Okay.
You guys always have our backs.
I know. Because, yeah, that's amazing. She even put a comment in there of a good restaurant to go to, too.
Lovely.
So.
I noticed Sarah just posted that she's added 2 more pairs to the sock FOs, and it's now up to 1,673 pairs.
Wow. Yep, that's great. So keep getting them in there. I've done a few socks. So
I started some socks. All right. So
I started some socks too.
You finished some socks too. I've marked down tonight because I forgot last week. I marked down time codes. Have I kept one yet? No. So I'm going to start right now.
We've only done admin. We've only done admin.
Let's talk about what we are wearing, and that's at 11:02.
Okay. I am wearing the Moonlight tee. Let me see if I can find it here. We have so many things. You're right. There's so many things in here that it's hard to find the one that you're looking for.
This is a busy episode.
Okay. Anyways, it's the Moonlight tee by Knitting for Breakfast. And I did it in Kelbourne Woolen's Perennial. And the Perennial is, and I still can't find it. Maybe I didn't even put it in here. I probably didn't.
Well, let me just tell you, from having seen the sweater in person, is every bit of bright, and then some in person. It is a very bright pattern.
It is. And I absolutely love it. This is a little bit outside of my comfort zone of what I would usually wear, but I just love it. The pattern, it's probably blowing out, but the pattern is amazing. So again, it's by Knitting for Breakfast, and it only took a skein and a half. The Kelbourne Woolen's Perennial has like 492 yards per skein. And it's just like basically a little short sleeved, and it's not, well, it might be cropped on someone else. It's not cropped on me, and it's got a little bit of the design down at the bottom. I'm not going to stand up anyway. It's on Ravelry, and I linked it, and I have to get outside and get some pictures of it. I haven't done that yet, but the Kelbourne Woolens is amazing. I think it's got alpaca, merino, and nylon. So it feels amazing. So, and it glows.
And I am wearing not a knitted project, but I did make the project. So I'm wearing the Burnside bibs. I do have a picture in here because there's no way. These are like full length coveralls. So here's a picture of me, strutting through town in my sunglasses and heels, as I do. Not do. Anyway, I love this pattern. The pattern is by Sew House 7. I did make a banner too. Shoot, sorry. Too many things. There we go. So this is the pattern. So you can see at the back, they're really cool because they have this, it's a little bit of a diaper butt. You can make it two ways. You can make it so that it gathers this much, or you can make it the less gathery way where you do a side zipper, which is what I did. So I do not have this much gathering at the back of mine, but I just love the front. I love the shape of the bib, the fit of the bib. It's like a nice cozy fit down through the top. It's just, I really like it. I made them last year, and they get worn a lot. So that's what I've got on.
Okay. And we've got one more person wearing things here. So this is,
I'm thinking, where? There is only the two of us. Oh, Miss Penelope. Yes.
So this is Penelope. I thought I would get a picture of her wearing her. This is the Emily Baby Romper by Natasha Gizimova. And the little shoes are Sarcha's Booties by Sarcha Bruyan. Pretty sure I probably didn't pronounce that right. But anyway, that little outfit is done in Sirdar Snuggly DK bamboo. So and it fits her perfectly. And it was so much fun to knit. And too bad we can't wear little things like that. But that pattern's pretty cute too. And you could actually, like I was thinking, you could actually take that pattern and then just keep going and make an A-line shape. And then you could do the little picot at the bottom, and you can make a little dress with it instead of doing the like the close up for the romper. And then if you've got a dress, it actually will fit them a little bit longer because you're not closing anything up, and you could just put like some frilly pants on underneath. Yeah. But anyway, that's Penelope. That's her 2-month picture in her little romper. So
you could pick up stitches at the waistline, and you could add a skirt over top of the romper.
Yeah.
And then it would be like the little, sort of like that dress that you were wearing on the weekend where you have the shorts built in underneath. Yes.
Yep. So.
Okay. I lost the comment, but somebody, Becky says that she needs sunglasses to see your top.
Well, this is neon pink. The color is actually called neon pink.
It is neon pink.
It is neon.
Yes. Friends, you are it is pink. It is very bright. You wore it on the weekend, and when she came into the room, that's what I said. Everybody get their sunglasses out. Noelle's coming in. Yes.
So
it's really
anyway,
pretty.
I love it. So, okay. So we should probably maybe say, I know a lot of people are wondering about Chicago, and we are going to go through a few things tonight because we cast on some things, but I think we're going to do an extra episode, just basically to go through and show you pictures of the yarn stores that we were at and the people that we met and some of the things that we got up to and more of our stash, and put it all in its own little episode.
Yes.
Because we'd be here forever if we did it tonight.
It would be a long episode.
Yeah. And it's not going to do justice to like the, everything that went on. So we will do a separate episode, probably.
Well, I have a wedding this weekend. And Noelle is going to a wedding, and then you're going to be away until next Thursday. So we are planning to record it next Saturday, and then I'll have it up on Sunday. Yeah. Up on the channel. But before we walk away from it, I do want to say a huge thank you. We'll say it in depth, but we were just so warmly greeted by the most lovely group of strangers that are no longer strangers. They are all our besties now. And I want to say a huge shout out to Penny and Dawn of Frivolous and Frugal, and the co-hosts of the event, which is Irene, Angie, and Joyce of the 3-Ply podcast. They are all our knitting sisters now. That's all I have to say. We had so much fun. Everybody had a good time at the retreat. Like, it was, I can honestly say, that's the best knitting event I've been to. Like, there was no classes. You still went to yarn stores, but you just had time to spend meeting people. Noelle could start knitting at 6 a.m. That's right. And I would go down at 6 and people were up. I would get up slightly later, but I was still up knitting at 1:30 with people. So it was fantastic. Like, it suits everybody. It was amazing. Yeah. So that's right, what we want to say. Friends forever. Friends forever. And there's a possibility that some of our new friends might try to find their way across the border this way and attend Knit City with us next May. So that's like a super exciting thing to look forward to. Again, our hearts are full. Yep. Our suitcases were full with new yarn. Believe me, it was a tour gifts. Getting those suitcases and things up onto the train. And that train station on Sunday, Irene, we didn't tell you this yet, but it was like every movie you've ever seen where there's an apocalyptic event happening in the city and the world is trying to get out. It was just absolutely crazy in there. I was just kept looking over my shoulder to make sure Noelle was still with me, that I hadn't lost her, that we hadn't gotten separated. You should have had that sweater on. That's right. It was crazy. But once we got on the train and got seated, it was all good. It was fantastic. The train actually even got into Port Huron a little bit early. Yes. And we got the last bottle of red wine. We did. I had to stand in line for 45 minutes. Kelly thought I'd gotten off the train. I wondered if they disconnected a car that got a little emptier. And I thought, like, she's still even on the train. Should I go look for her? I don't know. But eventually she showed up with the last bottle of red wine. So everything was good. We got home in good time, and a good time had by all. So again, we will go in. Definitely, we want to do like this. This was going to take more than 5 minutes of conversation. So we definitely decided to do a full episode, and watch for that next week. Yep. And you will see some of the things anyways that we got, because we couldn't wait. We couldn't wait. Okay. We were buying things and casting on as soon as we got back to the hotel. One night I was even winding, sitting in the lobby. I had it wrapped around my legs, winding office game, just so we could cast on. Why? I don't know. Because we're crazy. Like, why does it matter if it's because we were enthused and we were so excited. So excited. Yes. Irene says she's still recovering from the weekend. In truth, we are too. Like, that's like, I didn't go to bed until 11 o'clock at night, and I got up at 6. That's the most. Well, I got up before 6 because I was downstairs knitting at 6. That's right. So I was tired. I actually slept till 7:30 yesterday morning. So, and I slept until 9. Half my day was gone. Sarah says, were we high on yarn fumes?
Yes.
Yes.
Still am, Sarah. Still am.
It was making us do bad things. It was inciting us to keep buying more yarn, even though we knew we had no way to get this home. But anyway.
But we managed. We managed. Knitters can always find a way.
It's amazing how much you can squish yarn in. And here's the funny thing. I unpacked my suitcase to put everything away upstairs in the dressing room. And then I thought, well, I had yarn up there. Let me just put all of my goodies from the weekend back in the suitcase, because it eventually comes back down here to the basement and gets stored up high anyway. So with what I put in the suitcase, it's full again. So I don't know, how was the room for my clothes and toiletries when the suitcase is already full? It's crazy. It's crazy to me. Crazy to me.
It down.
Yeah, it just expanded. So
okay.
All right, let's talk about some knitting.
Finish anything?
Heck no. How could I finish things? I took 4 projects with me on the train, knowing that one I probably wouldn't touch, and did not. And then bought stuff and cast on 4 new projects on the weekend and knit only tiny bits on every single one of them. But you know what? It's fine to do that.
It was fun.
It's completely fine to do that. Absolutely. Okay. So did you, all right. Firstly, did you finish? You finished something before we even got there. So
yes, I finished
let's
something
talk about that.
Okay. So I finished my row by row sampler socks by Irene Designs. So these are, let's see, I put a picture there because you can see it a little better, but this just shows a little bit of detail. It's got a really nice heel in it that I hadn't done before. It's kind of a ribbed heel. And then you've got all different stitch patterns in the leg of the sock. Plus you've got a nice little detail of a twisted rib up in the top of the sock, but just like a little bit in the middle, just a little something extra. And then the foot of the sock is just plain knitting. And yeah, it was a really fun pattern. It knit up really quickly because you were always excited to go to the next, to get to the next little pattern repeat. So I'll just pop that up there, but it's row by row sampler socks by Irene Designs. And Irene is Irene from the 3-Ply podcast. She also did the Get Shorty socks and the Shorty rib socks. But I would definitely recommend this pattern. All over the weekend, we were trying to convince her to take that pattern design and put it into a cowl.
Yes.
So now that I've said it out loud on the podcast, Irene.
No, you have to say it this way. We double dog dare you, Irene, to put that into a pattern.
Hey, Kelly, did you know that if you double dog dare, you have to do it too?
Yeah, but it's her pattern. So, I can't do it.
Well, you have to do a cowl pattern too then. That's why I didn't. Because that was the rule. Anyway, so again, those are the row by row sampler socks. They're absolutely amazing for like a tonal or straight color sock. This is the Regia Merino Yak, and it feels amazing. Like I would definitely knit with this sock yarn again. I hope it holds up. I think we've had people said before that that it did. So I'm really looking forward to wearing these. And yak is supposed to be even warmer than wool. So lovely pattern.
Thank you, Julia. Julia says I get a buy and I can test knit the cowl. I would do that. I would totally test knit that.
I would test knit it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so. I was, Mary was wondering why we didn't take the vacuum sealer with us to vacuum seal these bags. Well, you're right, Cherie. There wasn't room for it. There absolutely wasn't room for it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay. Did you have anything else finished?
I do.
Oh, yes, you did. That's right. Well, okay.
Okay.
Hang on a second. I'll dig mine out because mine is yours is finished. Mine is a start, barely a start. Go ahead. Don't wait for me.
I'm going to pull up the actual pattern first. Okay. So this is the two-fold cowl by Karina Spencer.
I'm looking for it. It's
okay.
Somewhere.
And several of us bought yarn for this on the weekend.
Couldn't stop ourselves.
I have been
stocking that pattern for months, waiting for it.
So I finished mine. So
it looks amazing.
We bought the yarn on Saturday, rolled it the minute we got back to the hotel,
The minute.
And then I started it that night. I knit for it on the train, and then I finished most of it yesterday, and I finished the last part of it this morning. So you can see there, you've got the little detail at the top with the buttons underneath. And then there you can show it the other way with the buttons up at the top and the detail underneath. And then I've also got another picture here of what the what that little, it's an intarsia cable. So it was kind of neat to do it, and a lot of fun. Like, it was a really nice pattern. This yarn is Haiku Simply Natural, and it is a blend of alpaca, merino, and silk.
And it truly feels like butter.
It doesn't feel like
so
butter.
like butter.
It feels like cashmere. It feels like cashmere. And
cashmere feels like
absolutely, it was a super fun pattern to knit. Really like the high contrast. Like I said, there was lots of people that were looking at doing it. Well, there was a lot of people that bought yarn for it.
Yes.
So we'll see if there's a lot of them around. Maybe we'll see them on Ravelry or on some other podcasts. So I think the pattern itself actually just came out on Saturday while we were there.
Yes, it did.
And yeah, but I know that some people had been stalking it before on Instagram. And so it dropped that morning. And I think we looked at it before we went to the yarn store, and then picked out yarn when we were there. And
I had already been to the yarn store the day before and bought. And then when the pattern came out, I got thinking, and I thought, you know what? I've got yarn here. I've got yarn that I would really like to make this with here. But somebody said they were going to the yarn store, which is Elgin Knitworks, cutest shop ever.
3 times. We went Friday.
So I went, and I couldn't stop myself.
We went Thursday, Friday, and Saturday 3 times.
Yes, absolutely. So I got there, and of course, you're caught up in everything, right? See, you're just excited. So I bought 2 colors. My colors are different than Noelle's, but these are my 2 colors. And this is Direful Yarns, which is local to that area. This one is Sweeney Todd, is the purpley bloody shades. And then this one is Gargoyle Gray. And I love these colors. So I cast mine on, but alas, I was getting irritated I couldn't work on it on the train just because it's intarsia. So I'm the person that needs to have 2 balls on either side of me in a yarn bowl so that my yarns don't get tangled up. So I couldn't knit on it, but I did finish the ribbing. So I'll show you what I have done of the ribbing, just so you can get an idea of how gorgeous those colors are together. So pretty. Look at I would knit a sweater in this. Look at the beautiful variegation.
It's got like a to it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So you'll have to wait to get updates on that one.
But it was a fun pattern. So it's going to be too hot to wear it for a while, but it's a fun pattern. Oh, and I didn't even show. I showed pictures, but I actually do really have it right here. It's sitting right beside me. So there's the one side. So you can see it kind of ends up kind of like a V, but then you double it up when you put it around your neck. And then the back side has your intarsia. And it's just like, I really don't like doing intarsia, but if it's just 2 colors and you're not carrying it across anything, I don't mind. Like, I hate the intarsia where you've got, like
the dinosaur sweater.
Red. Yes.
Like the dinosaur sweater.
Like the dinosaur sweater. But in this, I really didn't mind. And it was kind of fun. I'd never done so where you do that little crossover, you're actually increasing as well. So it was kind of neat. And you sort of had to keep track. Like I had to keep looking back at the pattern just to make sure I didn't do it wrong of when you're supposed to switch to the other color. But anyway, and it's the way they even tell you to cast off. You get a really nice, like you can hardly see there where your colors change, the way they tell you to cast off.
Very nice.
And it's a really nice edge. It's not, it looks kind of like an I-cord, but it's not an I-cord, but it's just the way they cast off. So I did mine.
Sorry, I was going to say a few people are asking the weight of the yarn. I'm using a DK.
Yes, and mine is an Aran, but the pattern calls for 18 stitches, which is basically closer to an Aran weight than a DK. So your DK, you're going to knit more loosely.
Yes.
So,
and then you actually cast on less stitches.
I did cast on less
rows too.
I did just one less repeat. And there's actually instructions in the pattern if you do want to make it shorter or longer. I did one less of just like 4 rows less on the length, but I did take out some stitches around because I'm short and it just would have been too long, and especially in the thicker yarn. And I know that when I block this out, it's going to block out a bit more too, because it's just the alpaca and it's going to have that drape. So
yeah, it's just a really unique pattern. I really like it. I haven't seen anything like it. I like it.
Rachel says Isla still loves her dinosaur sweater. That's right, Isla, you are lucky because Grandma loves you. I don't knit intarsia. Only grandchildren get intarsia.
That's right. That's right.
So.
Somebody's asking if you can put it on. Is it too hard to put on with your headphones and everything?
You just put it on like this, but then you sort of have to arrange it, which I don't know if I can do without a mirror. But okay, so there's the
pretty good job. Pretty good job.
Without a mirror and without.
You can even on the pattern.
You can even open the buttons and just wear it around your.
And then wear the cowl, and then you can just let those edges hang down. There's a picture in the pattern of that, and that looks really nice too. If you don't want to have it closed up around your neck.
Yeah. So, and like I said, it's not blocked yet, so I know that this will all flatten out when I block it, and I'll get some more pictures after I've blocked it. But
we're not needing it anytime soon, but you'll be ready when we have it for sure.
So,
okay. Any other finishes?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. So let's just move into some whips.
Okay.
Or do we want to call it new cast-ons? Or it doesn't even matter. They're works in progress.
I'm not even going to show you everything that I cast on, because some things I told you about last week, the Cascada tee and the outline tee, I did cast on, but basically just started. I really don't have much done on him. So
one could call it cast on piggery, because we did go a little overboard. It's kind of like going to the buffet where your eyes are bigger than your belly. You put it on your plate and realize there's no time or space in your stomach to eat that much food. So, okay. Well, I cast these on. I talked about them last week. I think I have a picture in here. Maybe I got rid of the picture.
Okay, Joanne loves intarsia. Who loves intarsia? Not me. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's because when you've got a bunch of colors across the row, you've got all those ends hanging down. And it's like you have to unravel them all at the end of the row. I think that's basically why I don't like it. And
exactly.
You said the same thing, where you like your ball of yarn on each side, right? But if you've got something where you've got about 5 or 6 colors across the row, I guess it's because I feel like it slows me down. So
I know,
Joanne, good for you. Good for
you. That's time that we have to spend untwisting yarn when we could just be spending it knitting, right?
Like, so I would much rather do two-handed color work than do intarsia.
Absolutely. Oh, hands down. Yeah. Hands down. So I cast on a sock, and I thought I still had the pattern up here. This was the sock pattern by Lisa Ross, which is called the Margarita socks. Is that what they were called?
Margarita Mix.
Margarita Mix. Thank you. So I didn't even get one finished. They're a short sock. I thought, I'm going to finish this on the train. I don't even think I knit on this. So this is the top and the heel. I am almost done the gusset, and then the foot will have 4 more of the lace bands. The lace bands are really, really cute. They're kind of like a fan and feather. Is that what it's called? Fan and feather? Yes. Right?
Yes.
Yes. It's kind of like the idea. And then underneath it has like a ribbed, underneath where the lace is on top, it will be ribbed on the bottom. So it will snug it in, and then it'll be done up in these 2 colors. But it's really pretty. It's by Lisa Ross. She did have a sale on the pattern. I think the pattern is not on sale anymore, but and I'm using the little skeins, the Katia United sock yarn. I am finding it's a little stiff, but you said that you've used it, and then once they're blocked or washed the first.
Well, I found that once I washed it, that it kind of softened up a bit.
Yeah, yeah. But I just thought they were really They were just fun. And I like the colors, summery fun colors. All right. So that was
Sarah says, can you imagine knitting one of those calf facet intarsia sweaters? I'm going to show you next week the vest I made for Ross. Okay. And let me tell you, it was not fun. There was nothing about it that was fun. It was, I can't remember the name of it. It was mosaic or something. And it was like, seriously, there must have been 14 or 15 ends hanging down it was not fun. I will never do another one. I swear there's only two in the world. The one that was on the pattern picture and the one I knit, because no one would make that. So, and it was in 4-ply yarn, like fingering weight yarn.
Victoria, that's interesting. She says that we call it feather and fan, but in fact, is the actual technical name is old shale.
Old shale. Yep.
I've never heard that.
There's different types of old shale too. Sometimes there's old shale that shows the garter bumps on the outside, and sometimes there's old shale that is smooth. So you have like a right side and a wrong side.
Okay. I did change it just a little bit. I did a twisted rib at the cuff because the pattern called for 1x1. And when it's a 1x1, I will always go to a twisted 1x1. 2x2 is my preferred method, but okay. Next up.
Yes. Joanne said she's made several calf facet patterns. So there's more than one person who is brave enough. Anyway. Okay. Next up. What did I cast on? Okay. At the yarn store on the first day, I also bought this and started this shawl. So I do have a picture. So this is called the Gentle Waves. So there's a picture. It's just kind of like a little shawl that goes around your neck, but it's done in a gradient yarn. So you kind of get just the flow into the next colors. And the name of the pattern is the Gentle Wave Shawlette by Jillian Robbins. And this is a pattern that's actually put on by the yarn company. And that is Wonderland Yarns. So there's my yarn. So you can see it was kind of like a taupey color in the middle, and then it goes out to like a pinky corally color. So this company, I think they said they dye one color in this particular line, one color a month. And this one was actually called the Atlas Moth. So that was their inspiration picture.
Very nice.
And yeah, the colors are really pretty. And the pattern itself, it's got little cables all the way through it, just small cables. And you can see I'm getting out of the taupey and into kind of strawy yellow color. And I was having an amazing time knitting this, and I would have kept on knitting it until I bought the other yarn to knit the two-fold gal.
And then like a squirrel.
And then this on nothing else. But I really do like it, and I think it's going to look really nice fading out to that nice corally color.
Absolutely.
And this was yarn that I got at Elgin Knitworks.
Yes.
So, and it was like a kit that came with the yarn and the pattern. And we were figuring that the way the yarn, you can see how the yarn's all kind of crinkly like that we're figuring it must have been dyed in a blank, like to fade it like that. And that's why it's still crinkly in the yarn. But you're not really seeing that when you knit it up, because it's not really curly. And then once it gets blocked out, it'll be fine. Okay.
Joanne says that she taught intarsia at the DFW Fiber Fest a couple of years ago.
Wow.
So I think I did it years ago. I didn't like it years ago.
Well, I did it when we did a lot of the stuff for
because I think I did the little cat sweater, from the same book that you did the dinosaur sweater. We've had this conversation before.
Yep. Oh, I did all sorts of ones for the kids when they were little, but I didn't enjoy it. But
Joanne also says that we are enablers. No, we're not. She said she bought a cone of Holst, super soft, and she has no project planned for it yet. Yeah, well, Joanne, I have a wall full of Holst cones back there, and there's no project for any of them. Sarah also designed a vest for her son, which was Argyle, so she used intarsia. It turned out cute, but she said she definitely didn't like the messiness.
Yeah. And that's what I think I don't like. And then it seems like if you set it down and you come back to it later, even though you separated them all, they all went like this again. It all tangled themselves up again before you start to knit.
Irene says that she doesn't think Noelle sleeps. She just knits. Okay. I
sleep.
can confirm that she sleeps. And I can also confirm, because when I went back to the room after knitting until 1:30 one night, she wasn't just sleeping. She was snoring. So there you go.
I was having a good sleep.
Okay. So on my first trip to the yarn store, or did I get it on the first run?
Which one?
The
mohair and the...
I did, didn't I?
Yep.
Did I get that on the first day?
Yes.
So they had a cowl there. And I thought, well, this is perfect knitting. It's super simple knitting because so you just use two things. You cast on a set number of stitches and basically just knit stockinette. And they had a sample there that I was in love with. But here's the kicker. Turn this to the best advantageous point possible. It is a dyed mohair in a gradient colorway.
Yeah, a gradient mohair.
And then I paired it with this, which is a fingering weight yarn by Direful. Again, this is the one that I was scanning up by hand that night in the lobby because I just wanted to cast it on like immediately upon arriving back. And it's such a subtle gradient. So now I'll show you what it's starting to look like when it's all knit together. This is just absolutely gorgeous. And truly, we know the mohair doesn't count anyway, because what do we call that? We call that a condiment. So I really only bought one skein of yarn, but look at this. Look at this. How beautiful is that? And it's funny because I couldn't really even see with my own eyes that this had turned to a brighter blue, but now on screen, I can see that. So my next color up is going to be the green and the pink together. And it's just going to be a really drapey, lush cowl. And then when you put it on, it just, all the colors are sort of at your neck. It feels amazing. And again, super easy to knit. So this is perfect KnitChat knitting. I could have been sitting here knitting it. And I'm sorry, I don't know if there's actually a name to the pattern because it was at the store.
It's called the L cowl.
The L cowl? Okay. I
can link. But I don't know. I looked at, I couldn't see it. It wasn't on Ravelry, but it's the L cowl by Elgin Knitworks.
Okay. But it's absolutely beautiful. And I love how much I went back and forth a few times wondering if I should get something that had like the speckles in it or not. I wondered if it would compete with the mohair, but I think it really enhances it. I love it. Absolutely love it.
And so, I did buy two colors and started it too, but then I ripped it out because mine, it was too colorful. I liked the fingering by itself and I liked the mohair by itself, but together they were just too much color, says the person wearing this neon pink.
Yes, you're so subtle. You're so subtle.
Anyway, but I think the mohair that I got, and we'll show you that on the Chicago episode, but the mohair I got will look really nice with like just a plain cream colored yarn.
Yes.
And the sock yarn that I got is just so pretty. I could do anything with it.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. Okay. What else have we got?
Okay. So on the train, because I finished my, my Irene socks, I started another pair of socks, but these are just, they're knit in the cork yarn that Kelly had gotten, back, I don't know how long ago, but because it was corked, we thought, it was a perfect type of yarn for us. And then I'm just putting in, I don't know if you can see it. I'm just putting in a little tiny cable, and you can't see it all that well, but it actually makes it easier to knit because it helps with the counting rows. And once it gets stretched out and on my foot, I think you'll see it more. Let's see if we can turn it around.
It's really pretty.
And I cast on, like the contrast that I have for it is just the cream color. So I did cast on with the cream and just knit one row before I went into the body of the sock. And I thought that way the socks will just look exactly the same, even if, it's kind of like at a different point in the variegation, they'll still have that little bit of cream at the top. And then the heels and the toes are going to be in the cream color.
Yes.
So it's super pretty. I love the colors in it. And it feels nice knitting it up. And this is Rose Hill.
Rose Hill.
So this is Rose Hill yarn. And these are the little sets that come with the 50-gram skein and a 20-gram mini. And they do, like I can still make a sock that's like 60 rows long in the leg with like 20 rows of ribbing. And I can still do that with, because most times you don't use more than 70 grams for, I should say, an average size foot. If you've got a bigger size foot, you might use more. but I don't find I hardly ever use more than 70 grams for a pair of socks, especially in a finer weight because there's more yardage in them.
Well, that's why I was thinking, like, if I were knitting these socks, the giveaway socks, easily, this is 2 pairs of socks because I could do heels and toes with and 50 grams easily. So 70 grams, no problem. You'll get 2 pairs. Joanne is asking for me to hold up Viola. I don't have that color. I don't have that color. Do you have that?
No, I don't have that color either.
No, sorry. You'll have to wait and see it in person when you get it.
Joanne says that Rose Hill has a gorgeous Advent. Oh, it must have been an Advent calendar last year with mostly tonals. That would be nice.
Welcome, Anne. She says it's her first time watching, and she's from Ramilton, Donegal. Yay!
Yay, Irish. And Mary says that the Rose Hill sock feels so smooth. She needs to finish her socks from the yarn that I think that was the yarn that she won. Yeah, you do, Mary, because I knit my Sunday afternoon ones, and I love them. I wear them. Well,
I worked on those. But I wear
them a lot in the winter.
I worked on those. I'm putting the heel in right now. But the other one is finished. This is Rose Hill yarns as well. I have a block.
And that was the same. That was the set with the 50 gram skein and the 20 gram mini.
And I won't even finish that 50 gram skein. I know that because I didn't last time. So for me, those there's a lot of dyers now that are coming out with those little sock sets with the 50 and the 20. That's my perfect measurement because then I don't have guilt over what am I going to do with the other half of the skein, right? So this is the one that I finished from Rose Hill. And I just put, again, a cable. And it's funny, I didn't even realize that this was, because somebody said, oh, you're knitting socks on a train or socks on a plane? Plane. Is it plane? Plane.
If you knit them on a plane. If you knit them on a train, it might be socks
on a train. I've actually never even looked at that pattern, but this is just something that I used to do, was to put a cable in. So
yeah, the socks on a plane is just a plain cable. Like it's just a 3-stitch crossover cable. And I've done them quite a bit. They're
and is there purl bumps on the others or purl rows? Okay.
Yes.
So I guess it pretty much is what the pattern is, but
you can do anything you want just to go down a sock, like. And if you want it to really stand out, if you put a purl stitch on each side of it, like you can do whatever
just
kind of design you want in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, if it's a 4-row or a 6-row repeat, it does really help you keep track of rows. So.
Okay. I have another cast on, or do you have more?
No, go ahead. I do, but go ahead.
I have one more. That was in that bag anyway. I still think there's another one, but I think it's in another bag. So this was using my Holst yarn, the Coast. I finally cast on with this because I was trying to figure out which sweater to make, and I kept going back and forth. So this is the, gosh, now I don't remember the colors. Was it rosewood?
No.
No? So this is Coast.
Red currant. It's red currant. The Coast is red currant.
This might be rosewood. So the Coast is red currant, and this might be rosewood, and it's Titicaca, my favorite yarn name, as you all know, but it blends perfectly together. So I cast on the Qatar tea. So this was my train knitting to start with. And not only did I do this, I knit a swatch on the train and then promptly took it apart and started the sweater. So I have just a teeny little bit done on it. It felt like I was making no progress. And then I started to worry. I made a mistake in my lace. I had to tink back a row, and I thought, this maybe is not train knitting. I'm trying to find the right side. So it's teeny tiny. This is all I've done. I basically have done a neck, but I will show you. I put a picture in of the sweater.
Yeah, Joanne said that color reminds her of New Mexico or Arizona, and she's right. It's kind of like that
it is
red, like when the sun shines on it. And
so this is the sweater by Sari Nordland. And I think I will make the sleeves ever so shorter, though. I just feel, I don't know, maybe it just looks a little bit long for a short sleeve sweater. I might make it shorter. I may not. Who knows? But I have pony cords, so you know I'm going to be trying it on, right?
That's right.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, that color, that red currant color, that's the color of the European road trip shawl that I brought. That I didn't wear all weekend. But somebody did.
Somebody did. I wore your shawl. I wore James' shawl. It was cold there, and we had little sweaters on, but it was cold. At one point, I looked at the thermostat in the room that we were in. They had it set at 68. You could hang meat in there. I found it really cold. So I was just running around borrowing shawls from people. I'll wear this one for a while and that one for a while. And James had the Opus shawl.
Yeah.
And if I had had more room in my suitcase, I might have snuck home with that one.
I definitely want to cast that one on. I'm going, I have to, I've told myself I went through and I had like 18 whips. I never have 18 whips. And it is starting to stress me out. So I have to finish at least 2 things before I can cast something else on.
Okay. I'm not going to count how many I have because I don't have that anxiety.
I know, but I want them finished. I don't want them all like, yes. I want them finished. So yes. I do have to get some finished. Okay. Yes. So having said that, I'm going to show you my next whip. So last week I was talking about that I was going to cast on the blackberry kerchief with this is my Kiviot blend, which is 15% Kiviot, 80% extra fine merino, and 5% mulberry silk. And it just feels not like butter, but unbelievable. It's softer than cashmere. Like I can't even explain it. And so here's what I've got so far. You can see the detail in the pattern.
It's
like
so
it's just a
pretty.
Really delicate, pretty little pattern. It's just going to be a kerchief. It is from Church Mouse Yarns and Tees. I'm going to pull up the name here. So it's just the blackberry kerchief from Church Mouse Yarns and Tees, and they've done it just in a single skein of mohair, which would look really amazing too. And that's just a little cake of mohair, not like a full ball. And like, wouldn't something like that look pretty in that the mohair that's variegated?
Yes.
And just go down and like.
I also think that the possum yarn that we have would look good in that pattern because it feels quite similar. I have 2 colors in that possum though, but I kept saying I wanted to make a 2-color cowl or something with it. So I'm not going to commit to that.
Anyway, but this pattern, like it looks so delicate and it's really relatively easy. Like you just have to, once you've done it a few times, you can kind of keep track of it and you don't have to keep looking back at the pattern. Mm-hmm, but yeah, and so like I've hardly used anything. This is just a 28-gram skein. So it's just a 1-ounce skein, but I'll have a cute little kerchief in this when it's done.
Well, it looks like you're going to have something that's a decent size because like
I think so, because like I said, I've hardly used a lot of yarn.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. It's pretty. It's so pretty.
And I do. And this is actually something nice to take along with you somewhere too, because it's so light and easy, fits in a little bag, fit in your purse.
Fit in a wallet.
It could fit in a wallet. So, okay. That's all the whips that I have to show. Like I said, my other ones, there are some other ones, but a couple I haven't worked on and the 2 new ones I really haven't done much on. So I will have to work on those this week.
Isabel is asking us where we buy our Holst yarn. So a few places, Isabel. Often direct from Denmark, right from Holst itself. And in Canada, we find the shipping incredibly reasonable if you want to bulk order. If you are looking for some smaller cakes and you want to see the yarns, then there are several yarn stores that carry it as well. Although Little Red Mitten does carry the cones as well. And the price
they actually have a pre-order on right now.
I think that's where Joanne got her viola. That's what she's just mentioned in here.
So there's a pre-order, and I think they also have a special that I think it's if you buy 5 of the cakes, you get the 6th one free or something like that, or
pretty
6 and get 1 free, but it's something like that.
So that's Little Red Mitten. It is an inexpensive yarn for a beautiful quality product. And then I know if you're watching us from the west coast of Canada, I know that Wet Coast Wools carries it as well. I'm sure there are others, but those are 2 that we know of directly. Yeah.
But yeah, I have not been disappointed with any of the Holst yarns that I've knit with. So, and I've used the Coast, the Tides, the Super Soft. I have the Timecodes, but I haven't used it yet. But
you haven't used it?
No, I haven't used it yet.
Did I actually do something knitting wise before you? My goodness.
I probably bought it first.
Probably.
Okay.
Linda wants to know if your kerchief is reversible.
I'll show you what the backside looks like.
I would say no.
I would say no, but it doesn't look. The thing is, your pearl stitches are all on this side because they make the little baubles, and they're not baubles. They're just like a knit purl knit into one stitch, and then 2 rows down you purl 3 together. There's a lot of purling in it though, so if you don't like purling, you might not like it. But
Deborah is asking if any of the whips are for Christmas gifts.
Yes.
No. Mine are.
Mine is the mini mint sweater that I still have the sleeves to do on, and then I have 2 more to do.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about whips that we haven't shown tonight.
This is
yes.
So this is my mini mint that I still have the sleeves to do, and then 2 more. So I need to get back to that. So
Mary mentions that she ordered a color card from Holst. That's a good idea. I haven't ordered one yet. Mostly because between Noelle and I, we have pretty vast range of their colors at this point, but it is really nice, especially if you're wanting to do a lot of color work, to be able to really see the colors in front of you. I just sort of take a guess at it from my computer screen and hope for the best. And I haven't been disappointed yet. So
I just find a lot of their colors go really well together. So if I'm ordering, I always order to the max before I get to the next shipping level. So that's usually a couple of cones, and then I can usually order about 14 or 15 cakes. So I just order a whole bunch of different colors. And like I said, this is all in Coast. So this is the Holst Garn Coast, and those are all just different colors that I had ordered at one time or another. Like I didn't order them specifically for this sweater. And then I just kind of pull them out and see which ones I think would look good together. And, you know, like when you've got, especially in the Coast, 50 grams is 357 yards or something.
It's
so
huge.
I mean, in all those colors, I've hardly made a dent in the skeins. So I just find their colors kind of easy to put together. And I did the same thing when I was doing my my Yell cardigan, and it was done in the Super Soft. I just kind of pulled colors that I had. And I tend to like the same sort of tonality in colors.
I find that their colors are very heathered.
Yeah.
Right. So I think they lend well together. And even like when there is a really dark color, like this, where is it? Like this one here over my shoulder, the slow, like it's showing up on screen is almost black, and it is such a dark current color, but even still, there are little fibers of other colors in there. So even though so I think that's why one of the secrets as to why they blend so well. And it is probably the most woolly wool that I work with personally, but I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And Joanne says that the Super Soft she likes that it's half Shetland. I think it's half Shetland, half merino, and it's perfect for color work.
And it does really soften up. Do not be fooled by the word. I sort of wish it wasn't called Super Soft, because it's not super soft when you touch it or when you're working with it, but it does feel really nice after it's washed. It'll never become that soft, like butter yarn, but it will become a softer yarn. And it doesn't bother me to work with. So that's saying something, because I'm not a rustic yarn girl in any way.
And it makes a beautiful fabric held double too. So even though it's like a light fingering, there are lots of sweaters that you can do where you can hold it double, and it'll give you like a worsted to an Aran weight. The sweater that I did by Beth McDonald Stone, I can't remember the name of it now. I was really happy. I think I was doing it on a 5mm needle, and I was really happy with the fabric that I got from holding 2 strands together. And at the price, it's cheaper than buying like a worsted weight yarn to work with, even though you're holding it double.
Yes. So. And the other thing I like about it is, because this is usually how I've used it. I haven't made a Super Soft sweater on its own. I'm always pairing it with something else, a different type of fiber. So I've knit Super Soft and
Mohair.
No, it wasn't mohair. No, what did I make my vest out of? Oh, drops, alpaca, the soft baby alpaca. So I paired that with a Holst super soft and came out with a fabric that's just amazing, dreamy, amazing. And then
your love note. No, your ranunculus was Holst super soft with a mohair. With a mohair.
Yes. And then when I did the other ranunculus, I used 2 strands of Coast and 1 strand of Titicaca. And the Titicaca is pure alpaca. So you get like a higher loft, not a mohair loft, but you definitely get like a luscious loft from the Titicaca. And paired with the 2 strands of Coast, that's a fabric that I'd knit that day in, day out. I love the way that sweater feels. So yeah. Petra says maybe we should do a show on what patterns we could knit with Holst. Well, that would be a super long episode, Petra, because we could go on for a long time about the benefits of knitting with Holst.
Like I have knit the super soft. I have knit it single in Colorwork sweaters. I've knit it single where the whole bottom of the sweater is just 1 strand of the super soft single. I've knit it double. It's versatile, really versatile. And a single, I usually knit it on a 3mm needle so that I'm getting about 27 or 28 stitches per inch. And I love the fabric. And you get a really nice, warm sweater without having the weight of wearing a really heavy sweater. Like it's super light. So
I just saw a cone back there that I forgot I had. So somebody asked about the cone size. So I thought I would just show this. These are... Well, they're supposed to be 500.
They're supposed to be 500 grams.
So this is the size of a cone, Wendy. This is dried plaster, one of our favorite colors. So this is the size of a cone. It's a pretty good size. It says it's supposed to be 500 grams. I weigh all of my cones. This one weighed in at 611 grams. And we think, because I haven't got to the end of one of these puppies yet, but we think that the cardboard cone is about 40 grams. So even at that,
or 40 to 50, whatever.
40 to 50 grams. Yeah. But even so, that still means I'm getting about 550, 560 grams out of one of these. So
I have yet
very reasonably priced.
I have yet to totally empty a cone.
That's what I said. Like I feel like I've knit a few sweaters now, and the cones are like, what's that goofy song that when you get it in your head, that is like the song that never ends?
Yeah.
These are like the cones that never end. Like, can you ever get to the end of one? I don't know.
Like I had a cone of the Oxford that I used in my Yell cardigan. I used in the Skein-Dare Winterfell sweater. I lent it to Tracy for her to do a sweater, and there's still yarn left on it.
I know. Which is why we probably never need to be buying duplicate cones, because we could always just share off
cones, but colors.
That's what I mean. Duplicate colors. We could probably always just be trading off and still have lots left over. So.
Susan says she can wear that Jameson and Smith Shetland next to her skin. If you can wear that next to your skin, you'll be fine with the super soft.
That's one of my next sweaters. Can we talk? Go ahead. Say what Kathy said.
I was just going to say that Kathy said that I have not used unspun yarn yet. I do have some pencil roving from Makealongs Woolen Mills, and I do have some Plutalopi, but I haven't worked with them yet. There's just so many things I just haven't got to it yet. I have not ordered Newton.
So what I was going to say is, once I get this, so we are at August the 2nd today. This is going to be my last summer knit. Probably not going to get a lot of knitting done this week or next, because, Mr. Miles is coming on Friday. He's bringing his parents too, but I'm especially excited that Miles is coming. And we have the wedding. So precious little time, aside from sleeping, that's not being spent on that. And then they're here until next week. But once that sweater's done, my brain is already into winter sweaters. So do we have some ideas of sweaters that we're casting on? I will tell you, my first winter sweater that I'm casting on is the Roost sweater. And that will be using the Jameson and Smith jumper weight 2-ply, whatever it is. And I've not knit with Jameson yet. And then it's the biche bouche. And what's the yarn?
It's a lamb's wool.
It is a lamb's wool, but I'm wondering, there's a name for...
Oh, petite.
Oh, it's right here. Is it petite lamb's wool?
I think so.
It's 100% lamb's wool. Yeah. And this is the, Le Petite lamb's wool. That's what it's actually called. This is going to be my first winter sweater. Look at the lusciousness of this. This is the dark gray brown. And I love how, I mean, it's a simple name, gray brown, but it is. It's gray and it's brown. It's got like a nice shade of taupe in there. And then I have, I think, 5 colors chosen to do the color work on the Roost sweater. And I want, Mindy's asking, what is the name? Roost, Roost, like a rooster. Roost sweater. Who makes that one? Do you remember?
It's by Amy Christopher's Savory Knitting.
Yes. So when we went to Montreal last year, we met a lovely pair of knitters, and she was finishing this sweater. And I had total envy of the sweater. Total envy. So then I went on a yarn shopping trip to find this. Said that it was at a yarn store. We went to the yarn store. They didn't have it. And I was crying the blues about that, looking it up on the internet. And Jenny, lovely Jenny, actually sent me. She had leftover yarn and sent me what I needed to make the sweater. So that's going to be my first sweater for winter this year. What have you got that you're thinking up for
I'm not thinking anything, because I will change my mind half a dozen times before I cast something on.
Really? No, I am committed. I'm committed to that sweater. I also have 2 vests. So we all remember that I made the vest last year, and it was a huge hit with me. I loved the vest. So I've got 2 more vests on the loop too. And I've got some yarn set aside for those.
Well, first I'm going to finish the ones I have started from last year.
Oh yes, and I have a
I have my Corbis. I have my Silver Forest. I think it's Silver Forest, and a couple of other ones. So they're going to get finished first before I cast on a new sweater.
And I have my Fern and Feather, which basically needs about this much body and then a pair of sleeves, and it's a larger yarn because I'm using the Barocco Remix. And then one other thing that I saw this weekend. So Noelle has used the Remix Light a few times to make sweaters.
No, I just started with the Remix Light.
Oh, is that what you're using for your, no, it's not.
I'm using it for my outline tee and the Cascada tee.
Okay. And I want to use it. I don't know what I want to make, but I'm stifling a yawn. I don't know what I want to make, but we walked into the yarn store on the weekend, and it's a color that I love. It's actually almost like exactly the color of this bib, and it's called Straw, you said, right?
Yep.
And then we went to the event, and a bunch of people had made, I think 3 or 4 of them had gotten together, and out of the Remix Light in different colors, they had made the Casapinka No Need to Panic sweater. And one of them was that color. This color. Amazing. And I'm like, that's it. I've got to have that. But I didn't need to buy that yarn because I know that I can get that here in Canada. So there's a few other names that are popping in there. Susan's mentioned that Andrea Mowry's pattern sale is still on. I think it's until the 5th, and she has 39% off, which is the age that she's turning. And the code is 39 is fine. Moonrise Cardigan, Mary says, from the Amarisu issue number 24. And Mary is plugging her ears so she doesn't hear any more sweater patterns. Nance said she just finished the Roost in Jameson and ordered it from Little Red Mitten. Loved it. I know, I love that sweater. Yeah. I was so knit envious of Jenny's sweater that I knew I just had to have it. Okay.
Okay, so we should talk about our knit-alongs.
We should talk about our knitting.
Okay,
knit-alongs. So I'll go looking. You start talking.
Okay, so our knit-along that we've got going right now is our Summer Hug Cal. So that is where you make something that gives yourself a hug, like a shawl, a sweater, a cardigan, socks. But the fiber that you use has to have at least 30% of a summer fiber. So that could be silk. It could be cotton, linen, hemp. What else did we say?
Coast.
Tencel.
Flax.
Anything basically like a plant fiber or a summer fiber. Silk's not a plant fiber, but it is a summer fiber. So yeah, and get those into the FO thread. And if you want to share what you're making, you can put it into the chatter thread. So anything, like a lot of people are doing the Sommerknus, and there's a lot of Bell is a perfect yarn that you could use, and it's a cotton linen blend. There's lots of nice short sleeve summer type tops that you could make. You could make a shawl with a nice silk shawl or something. So there's lots of ideas for that. There's sock yarns that have cotton, bamboo, tencel.
Darlene was working with an amazing yarn this past weekend that I saw, and it's called, I'm not sure of the pronunciation. It's a vegan yarn, and I think it's called Pleiades. It's Pleides, and it's a stretchy yarn, and she's making that's super cute
rippled halter.
The rippled halter that's got that funky, nice little neck piece, and then it's the
cutaway arms.
Gosh, all right. We know we're coming to the end when my words are being lost. Anyway, it's in a stretchy fabric, and it's like a 2x2 rib, this entire sweater, and it's got some beautiful shaping in this rib. And she got Brianna to try it on, and it just feels amazing, and it looked beautiful on her. So that's another vegan fiber that you might want to look for. It's got so much stretch in it. It's really nice.
Okay, so that Makealong started July 1st, and it runs until September the 30th. So it's only the beginning of August. You still have lots of time to get something in there.
Yes.
And then our other knit along is our socks, which is going on all year long. And don't worry about when you started them. Just whenever they're finished, put them in the thread. The sooner they're in the thread for a month end, the more chances you have to win, because we go right back to the beginning. And if you saw one of the prizes today, the yarn prize actually went to the sock number that won was only 100 and something.
143.
So that's someone that's put socks in there right close to the beginning of the year and still won a prize now. So the more pairs you get in there, the more chances you have to win. And we've got an amazing year-end prize. Like, we'll go back and draw through the whole year that was donated to us from
Full Moon Fibers.
And it's a gorgeous project bag and sock set.
Yes.
So
absolutely beautiful.
And we're doing awesome with the number of pairs of socks. I know that we're going to get there long before the end of the year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, if you need to reach out to us, this is a good place to find us, knits and pieces podcast @gmail.com. That's where you can find us for an email comment. And then other than that, you can find us on Ravelry. I'm the Tangled Stitch everywhere.
And there are show notes under, and the show notes do have all that information in there. They have our Ravelry names, our Instagram names. It's got a link right to the Ravelry group. Our projects are linked. And actually, underneath in this one, in the show notes, I actually listed the podcasters that were at the mini meetup. So, and I will list that again when we do the Chicago episode. But
and we'll talk more about them then as well. So stay tuned.
You can click on it to go to their podcast too. So.
And one last thank you would be to Streamyard for this fantastic platform that they allow us to use. It's a lot of fun. It's easy. So if you're somebody that's running some live streams or even recording and just like the way the labels are looking and the banners and the freedom to use that, you should look into that program. And I include a link underneath that in our show notes as well, where you can find Streamyard. Okay. Do we have anything else?
I think that's good. So thank you everybody for joining us tonight. And we can't wait to do the Chicago episode and tell you all about Chicago, but we've got pictures and everything that we want to put in. So we want to take our time and do it with everything in there so that we don't leave anything out. And in the meantime, we will see you next week on Tuesday night, and have a great week. Happy knitting.
I think we're planning Miles might make a little guest appearance next week too while he's here. So we'll see how that goes. He doesn't sit as still as he used to, but he may be entertained by what's going on the screen to sit for at least a couple of minutes. But Yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you, Marianne. Marianne says, be sure to like the video. Yes, please. Please do if you enjoyed yourself. It really helps the channel. It gets the channel in front of more people. And so then even more people can join into all this fibery goodness and join us on this fiber journey. Thank you so much for being here tonight. You make our week.
Yep.
And that's no guff. That's for true. So, all right.
Okay. Good night, everybody. We will see you next week. Happy knitting.
Happy knitting.